travel round the sun, while only the gods know where we run. We travel round the sun, while only the gods know where we run. We travel round the sun, while only the gods know where we run.
Hello and welcome. I am Sol, and this is my little Venus retrograde participation. Online today we have a whole community of astrologers, and I've seen a lot of good articles on the Venus retrograde, and this is perhaps like the third or fourth thing. If you're into astrology, you've probably read a lot already. And I'm not going to try to repeat what other people said, but I just want to share a little bit of the inspiration that I'm going through for the time being, especially because I've worked a lot with what we call the asteroid goddesses, the lost feminine. And it is a healing work, actually. It's not astrology. Astrology is part of it, of course, because it's mythology. But mythology is activation of energy. And it is recognizing something, which is the healing, remembering who you are. And, that's for the feminine quite a challenge, because the feminine today and the masculine today is deeply split in a way. There is not this operational, functioning, loving unity between the two halves. Parvati and Shiva, Jesus and Mary, yin and yang, it's like they are apart. And you see this on the divorce statistics on Earth today. Everybody's busy with another process. It's like Earth is going through this massive individuation process where we're trying to figure out who we really are and cleaning out the distortions of the past. So this particular Venus retrograde offers an opportunity for both men and women to really truly connect into themselves and figuring out what they want and who they are and what their heart is all about and what is true for them. It's in Aries, so it has to do with authenticity. But back to the feminine and masculine balance. The masculine is vertical. It's connected to God, the cosmos. And the feminine is horizontal. It's connected to Earth. It's connected to life on Earth. So together they form a whole. And we see this in the mythology of Shiva and Parvati. You see the split. Shiva lost Sita, his wife, the goddess, the mother of Earth. And he goes into this deep meditation. And there's demons arising on Earth. There's this great demon that takes over. And everybody's worried about the state of affairs. And they go to Brahman and they say, we have to fix this thing. Shiva is not operational anymore. He's not destroying this demon. We have to reincarnate Sita. We have to reincarnate the feminine. Okay, good idea, Brahman says. And there's, just try to cut a long story short. Okay, so they reincarnate Sita into Parvati. She has no idea who she is. She doesn't remember her goddess powers. So she thinks she's just, like a daughter. I'm just this nice little daughter energy that is really obedient, and whatever you want, I'll be this for you. She's very consistent on one part, though. She's so devoted to Shiva. She's like unbelievably devoted to this energy, and she's always worshipping in this energy. So the parents try to marry her off because that's what they do. And she refuses everyone. She says, Mama, you know what I want. Okay, so they give her to Shiva. Shiva doesn't recognize her. She doesn't recognize herself. Hence, they don't fall in love. And, he's tried manipulated. Like there's these arrows that is being shot into his heart, like a Cupid kind of energy. And, he briefly is enchanted by Parvati, and then he realizes what happened and he sends her away. He doesn't like to be manipulated, Shiva. So she goes into her own meditation, the female reconnection with herself. And then by that time, somebody told her, but Parvati, you are Sita. You are the Shakti. You are the mother of all the worlds. And she's like, oh, that's a little bit too much. I can't be this beautiful, have you, or this big, or this much, And if you've tried giving a woman who doesn't love or appreciate herself as she is a compliment, you will be rejected. No. It's hard to love a woman who can't love herself, that's for sure. So anyway, she has to really love herself in order for you to, as a man, appreciate her. Otherwise, she will feel shameful if you touch her and you want to, consummate the love. All right, so back to the story. So Parvati is sitting there in her own meditation, remembering who she is, and she has this realization, and she's starting to see, and she's devoted to Shiva in a way. She's even more going into it. She's not noticing anything around her anymore. That's the level of focus on the essentials that she has, and then, there's this other monk coming by, and he starts to tease her. Why are you doing all this, Parvati? You are so magnificent. You could have had anyone. And why are you doing this? For the love, she says. Of course, for the love of Lord Shiva. I'm doing it for love. It's love. It's just that pure energy of love. And he's like, but it's Shiva. Are you out of your mind, Shiva? This dirty, poor, crazy god, you could have had anyone. And she's furious. She's remembering her true self then. And she's like, it's a sin, what you're saying. And it's an even bigger sin to hear you say these things. And then she shows him her true power. And then Shiva manifests, and they find each other again. He sees what she has remembered, and there's unity. And unity on earth means that they get a child, and this child destroys the demon. And if you look on earth today with that, what we are actually missing on earth today, it's that union again. And we have so much separatism, we have so much self-destructive energies, we have so much pain that's just like demons. It's being reincarnated and fed into. It's being, we're actually obeying completely false energies. All the false gurus, all the false teachers, all the false beauties. And coming back to Aries and Venus retrograde, it's about time we learn to see for ourselves what is true and what is not in our own lives, in ourselves. What do you do to get what you want? How much of yourself do you abuse to get there? How do you treat yourself, really? And it's not like a compromise thing, it's just really not about that anymore. And I think, this is also the story of, which I've been working with very closely lately. I just wrote like a large piece on it about Persephone, the daughter energy, another mythology about a daughter, and she's being abducted by Hades, the god of the underworld, and she's being robbed from her mother, the all-controlling mother. And then you have like a whole, transformational process that goes on for Persephone, because she's, to begin with, she's a little worried, away from mama. And then after a while, she realizes in the underworld, you can really learn about your true power. You can really learn what is taking it away, where are your addictions? Where do you have codependencies? What about jealousy? What about possessiveness? What about, every desire that is in the underworld? Hades, Pluto is all about your relatively separative desires. Like, I want this now, Why? Just because I want it, you want your revenge. Why? what does it give you? Does it give you true peace? No, it gives me revenge, fake energy, for instance, right? So it's all these mechanisms that we have in the underworld, all the and also, the heritage, the things that comes from our from our mothers and our fathers, the energy that we just inherited and that is not ours. So now Venus is going into the underworld, like Persephone was abducted by Hades. She's going into her own shadow, you might call it. She's cleaning out whatever is not true. And whatever is not true, she knows now that it's taking away her true power, her true ability to love, to be in this energy called love. So she will reemerge again as the morning star, the Lucifer, the bright one, the shining one. She's going down now as an evening star. You've seen her on the horizon, beautiful, like a true light. And now she will go backwards and she will cross over, the star point with the sun, and she will re-emerge again as morning star. And then the purification is done. So I wish you a blessed journey. And these mythologies that I just presented for you, these stories, is just to show what is perhaps the level of consciousness that you're working on right now. Where are you working on yourself? How do you become more true to yourself? How do you become, as Parvati, more centered in love, more centered in, yourself? Parvati is only following her truth. She's following what is true for her. She doesn't, nobody can take her away from that. And that's a nice healing for the feminine, because the feminine often loses itself. If it doesn't have this vertical connection, and it loses itself into the world. And when you lose center, when you lose grounding in yourself, rejection is just around the corner. All right, so blessed journey and have a safe travel through these parts of yourself.